So I'm just carrying on from where I was talking about the Anunnaki fighting themselves, and they did have a massive explosion. Now in the Bible, I don't normally talk about the Bible, but the reason why I'm talking about the Bible now is because the Book of Enoch did end at some point, and where the Bible obviously was a retelling of the Book of Enoch, it carried on and was added to. So the Bible has got actually extra things in there that the Book of Enoch doesn't. And one of the bits I'm talking about here is where there's an explosion, a mass destruction, and the flesh will rot from rot from the people, and their eyes will rot in their sockets, etc. So if you look at what a nuclear explosion causes, it causes a very similar sort of radiation burns, etc., etc. And to have an explosion, you would find in sand areas. So Western Egypt, which is roughly where they had the explosion, there is green glass, which is caused by an explosion. So we're looking at Noah's Ark here, which we believe is what it looked like. However, recent translations of Dead Sea Scrolls and other texts suggest that it was a pyramid shape. The problem with a pyramid shape is it's really bad to float on water. Now there are UFOs, modern UFOs, that are shaped as pyramids. There's videos of them online. However, I do not personally believe the Anunnaki used pyramid-shaped UFOs at that period. So Noah lived for 900 and something odd years, and that's possibly because he was a descendant of Adam and Eve, which was a hybrid of the Anunnaki. However, recent readings and translations of the Dead Sea Scrolls have suggested that he was actually inserted into his mother as a fetus, and then when he was born, he came out with this glowing skin. So therefore he's a different type of being compared to the others. Now Jesus also had a glowing skin. So I was just talking about Noah and the fact that he may have been artificially inseminated into his mother's womb, which makes him a different lineage to the Adam and Eve people that's followed on from that. So he may have different DNA and different blood type. But while the Anunnaki were here creating the Homo sapiens sapiens, so was the Homo florensis, and so was Homo erectus, and so was the Neanderthal. Now, if you notice, they're all not the same as white people that's on this planet at the moment. And I believe, and don't hate me for this, this is just where my research took me, that the darker skinned people on this planet actually are native to this planet, and the white people are generally the hybrids from the Anunnaki. Now, as time went on, the white people, I believe, also interbred with the Homo florensis, Neanderthal, and Homo erectus to create the multicultural planet we have. So I was just talking about Noah and the fact that he may have been artificially inseminated, and if that's the case, then his lineage is different to Adam and Eve's lineage, which would explain why we have different blood types. And one such blood type is rhesus negative, and that's a really weird one to have because it actually destroys and kills babies. Now, in nature, that doesn't happen. You do not get a gamble as to whether or not a baby's going to live depending on the father. So we got to ask ourselves, why is that blood type different? And it's possible because, for example, in Genesis 1:26-28, it says, "Let us make mankind in our image," means plural. But they changed that in the Bible as to 1:27. So Noah could have been created in their image, but here it says in his own image. So the Bible's been changed to have just one God, which is a bit wrong, really. So if everything's making sense so far, it seems logical that the Anunnaki were experimenting with DNA. Don't forget, we do it now. We've learned to splice DNA. So it's not impossible for us to now imagine that the myths that we all told were myths are actually real creatures that the Anunnaki were trying to combine. So you've got, for example, the Minotaur, the Centaur, the Harpy. Now, that's not too hard to imagine if they were here for that long period of time. And it was only up until about 3,000 years ago that they kind of stopped creating these weird monstrosities. So what I'm trying to show is the logic between what I'm saying compared to, us just having myths and people creating these statues, taking weeks probably to create a statue of something they've never seen and they've just made up. Or did the Anunnaki deliberately create these hybrids?